What's up, you guys? It's Six. Welcome back to my channel. So you guys might already be noticing that today's video looks a little bit different than normal, and that is because we are not rendering a piece from start to finish today. Actually, I thought that we could focus this entire video more so on just my sketching process in general. If you are new to the channel, I do not sketch on camera. I just don't, because I used to. Way early on back in my channel, you guys will see that I most certainly do sketch on camera. But in the recent past, I have been not doing that because there is just so much pressure, even without filming, that comes from sketching and line art and making sure that those things are as gorgeous and beautiful as possible, so that I will have the energy and the wish to bring a piece to completion, if that makes sense. You know, if I don't like the sketch, if I don't like the line art, it is very hard for me to actually go about rendering a piece. And so I kind of like to take some of that pressure off of myself by not filming that portion, because again, like I said, there's already pressure just doing it by myself. So to be filming it and filming that kind of like vulnerable process on camera, so much pressure intensified in that moment. So I like to try and avoid that. So usually, more often than not, you guys will see me starting either going into line art or having line art already finished and going straight into render. But I did not feel like rendering this week, and I thought that this would be a perfect time to show you guys my sketching process, because what I'm actually working on in this video is yet another redraw. Is anyone surprised? No? I have been working on a series of redraws. Again, if you haven't seen any of my artwork recently, a lot of it has been redraws for my future shop update. Hopefully it ends up getting up this month. It is already it's the 16th as I'm recording this, and I had anticipated it being up on the 15th, but life happened and things happened, and so it is taking me a little bit longer, but I am really hopeful that hopefully by the 20th, which is that's a stretch, sometime soon, I will definitely put an announcement out, both on this channel, on the on my Patreon page. That's going to be the first place. My Patreon page, the what do they call it? The what do you call it? Community. My community page. I haven't used it in so long I forgot what it's called. My community page on here in the comments, and whatever video comes out around the time that it is up, I will be mentioning. But anyway, I've been working on so many redraws, and I thought this would be the perfect time to show you guys kind of what it would look like if I were to be sketching on camera, kind of show you guys a little bit, again, my sketching process, but starting from a base of like a previously made illustration. That way, again, a little bit of pressure taken off, because I'm not starting from zero and like trying to make like the most amazing piece. I'm starting from like 50 and trying to get to 100, you know? So anyway, this piece, so you may or may not recognize it. I don't think I ever did a speed paint for this piece. It is my Kind of Witchy sticker. It was one of the first stickers that I ever put up on my Etsy shop. It is very near and dear to me. I love this piece so much, but I know, as with all of these redraws, the reason that I'm doing it is because I felt like I was so creative back then, but I did not have the technical skill to really like push out what I wanted to make. You know, it was like I have the idea in my head and I have some of the skill, but I feel like now where I am currently is where I wanted to be then as I was making those pieces. So I am trying to bring that vision to fruition. And there were a lot of things actually with this illustration that I wanted to change, but also not many. A lot of them, the alterations that I've been making is to expressions. For example, the Space Girl piece that I did, you guys did not see the speed paint unless you're a patron. Patrons have that speed paint. But you guys might have seen it on Instagram, any of my other social medias. I wanted her to look like she was shocked. She has a star literally lodged in her eyeball, but she's just kind of like, I wish you guys could see my face. She's just kind of like blankly staring, like, oh, this is mildly inconvenient. But now I feel like she's kind of like, oh, ow. what is going on? You know, there's a little bit of the confusion, a little bit of, you can see that she's kind of in pain, you know, but not like so much pain that like she's having a terrible time. I don't want it to be like grisly or gruesome or anything. I don't want it to just be like cute, like, oh, a shooting star hit her in the face, you know, kind of expressive in that way. And I feel like this piece was very similar in that she's supposed to be in a bad mood. Take the W in kind of witchy and swap it with a B. That's her expression. That's who she's supposed to be. Kind of like mean girl, doesn't have time for you kind of energy. But her face was not giving that. It was not giving that in the original, and it's still in the sketch. I'm kind of having a tough time. I don't know if you guys are seeing that by this point. I don't know if I've you know, got the eyeballs and the eyebrows in or anything just yet, but if I do, hopefully you guys can see that I'm kind of trying to push that expression a little bit more. Something that I also had issue with in this piece was the silhouette of the sticker, for multiple different reasons. One of them being the text, and that is because for some reason I tried to have it along the outline of her hat and her lower body, and I don't think that worked for a lot of different reasons. One, it just kind of was a bit bulky, and it just looked a little strange to me. It took up a lot of space, and I followed the lining of the letters for the cut outline as well on the actual sticker, so it was really like bumpy, and at the time I really liked how that looked, but now looking back on it, I'm like, is there something that I can do to kind of like still have the wording on there but make the silhouette a little bit nicer? And as I was going through, I actually found out that I was like, why don't I just write it on the brim of her hat? Why didn't I think of that? And that is why I love these redraws so much. I'm thinking of all of these ways that I can get my ideas across, but better. I knew that I wanted text in the original illustration, but I couldn't think of how to incorporate it, so I just threw it around the outline, and that worked, I guess, at the time. But now that I'm, you know, coming to it a few years later, I'm like, this is a so much better way to incorporate that. It flows so much nicer. Something that I do really often too, that you guys will see me kind of write on the canvas when I'm sketching, I love to leave little notes for myself for things that I think of, especially in the case of redraws and things that I didn't have in the original. So for example, when you guys saw, if you have, I am not seeing this, you know, playing as I'm doing the voiceover, so if I've gotten there, if I haven't, you guys will or have seen me write the word sleeveless on there, and that is because as I was doing her torso area, I was like, this would look really cute as like a black sleeveless shirt instead of the turtleneck that I had her in originally. I still have it like a high neck, kind of like halter top kind of thing, but I thought it was so much cuter if we were to do that sleeveless. I think it would fit the aesthetic and kind of her personality a lot more than just going straight in with, again, just completely covering it with like a black turtleneck. And I think too, when I come in and do the rendering on this piece, I think I'll have a lot more contrast, which will be nice, because the original piece, it's so dark, and then like her face is really light, and then it's kind of balanced a little bit by the white outline. But if you're not doing a white outline, it's not as balanced. And so I'm glad that I thought to do that. That's a big part of my sketching process, is I just will write notes to myself and be like, hey, you should do this, hey, keep this in mind, because my sketches can be either really tight or really sloppy, or there will just be so much going on that I will forget details in the line art. So I like to leave notes to myself to remember to do certain things. So that's something that you would see a lot of in my sketching process. It helps me be less chaotic. I do a lot of that. And then yeah, my sketches, I like to keep them really neat. I say that they can be hectic sometimes because they can. And when they are too hectic, I like to do 2 rounds of sketching. I think you guys kind of saw me do a little bit of that in this piece, but not in the way that I traditionally do it. There's 2 different ways that I kind of sketch. I'll do the initial sketch, which is super rough, and like the anatomy and everything is so far off. I'm just trying to put the general vibe down on paper, and then I will duplicate that, lower the opacity, and then sketch over it to kind of make it like a little bit neater, you know, correct anatomy, do all of those things, because having a tight sketch is very helpful for doing line art later, because it means I don't have to pick and choose lines as often. I can just kind of like see, okay, this is the vision, now make it smooth, and then it's perfect. And sometimes my line art is so tight that I don't have to do, or my sketch is so tight that I don't have to do line art, because my second sketch was so crisp and clean and beautiful and gorgeous, and I love it. So that's one of my favorite things to do. Another thing that you guys might have seen me do is every single time I'm about to make a major change, I duplicate the layer and I keep it, and then I work on the second one, because I get so scared that I'm like, what if I mess up this little tiny detail, and then erasing it messes up this other thing, and then it messes up this thing and this thing and this thing, and then I lose all the things that I like about the piece. So yeah, duplicate layer is definitely my best friend when it comes to sketching and illustrating. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this piece. I hope you guys enjoyed the end result and are excited to see the finished render. If it was finished, I would pop it up on screen for you guys, but it is not, because again, I was not in the mood to render on this day. I just really wanted to work on sketching and getting those nailed down so that I can render them when I feel like rendering. But anyways, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. I added a tattoo. And I don't know how it's gonna come out because I love the look of tattoos. I think they're gorgeous. I think they're beautiful. Can I draw them? I don't know. I don't know. So hopefully it comes out looking really cool and like badass, and like she's really cute. And again, just like this moody kind of like grumpy gal with like a dark aesthetic versus before where she just was like kind of frumpy, I guess. Anyways, huge shout out to my patrons: Elise Thompson, Duran, Mandy, Sleeps, Created by Twins, Inky Moo Art, Psych Walker Art, Fish Nor Flesh, Akita Kai, Watery Turd, and Daru. You guys are amazing. I say this every week. You guys are the reason that I am able to do all of the things that I do, and I am so very grateful for you. If you want to be on this list of people that I am very grateful for, you can check out the Patreon at patreon.com/six.studios. It has so many cool things on there, from a few of the exclusive speed paints I've mentioned to sometimes weekly podcasts, sometimes it's bi-weekly, sometimes it's monthly, but there's a podcast. There's a Patreon exclusive podcast at least once a month, sometimes multiple. Anyway, and of course, if you join the Matcha Mail and Chamomile tiers, you get a monthly reward every single month. That's why it's monthly, but you get a sticker and a print. Sometimes you get 2 stickers if life gets crazy. But anyways, I love you guys so much. Thank y'all for watching, and I see you in the next one. Bye.